Hi everyone, I'm Emily, the founder of Best Life Shop, and today I want to walk through with you our brand new Life Pivot Planner. I know sometimes change is difficult, and I thought it might be fun to have a friend to go through this with. So I'm thinking get yourself a cup of coffee, get comfortable, a blankie, whatever you need. I know that making changes in your life can sometimes feel overwhelming because you're headed in a new direction. So I want to make the process a little bit easier for you and we can go through it together. Think of this video as a time to reflect and dream and plan our more intentional lives. So grab your life pivot planner and whatever else you need, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start section 1, the life wheel exercise. I don't know if you can see mine. Yeah. And so because I'm going to be working, and I know you are also going to be working on this, I'm going to probably try to speed through my working time, but I want you to pause this video whenever you want to do your own work, and then you can play it again whenever you're ready to move on to the next section. So let's get started with the life wheel exercise, rating your level of satisfaction in each area from 0 to 10, 10 being fully satisfied. Are you finished? I finished mine. I'm glad I used my colored pens because it's quite colorful. Let's go ahead and turn to the next page where we can respond to the journal prompts reflecting on our results. So let's take a couple minutes and do that. Are you finished reflecting? I'll share mine. So, which areas of the life wheel do you feel most satisfied? I answered my social life and personal growth. And then which areas do I want to improve? That would be health and leisure. They need the most work. What small change can you make this week to enhance an area where you desire more satisfaction? I decided that for health, I tend to not eat breakfast. Anyway, I drink a lot of coffee in the morning. So one thing that I'd like to do that's just a little bit of a tweak is kind of ties in with intermittent fasting and eating in a window between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. So that is one tweak that I can make to help me eat in that window, because I tend to eat most of my calories at the end of the day. And so if I have a cutoff at 7, I think that would help me with my health goals. And then in terms of leisure, I recently came back from a vacation where we did a lot of hiking, and I realized how much I really miss hiking. And so I would like to incorporate hiking more once I'm home and not feel like it's just a vacation activity. So I'm thinking even just once a week, trying to incorporate getting into the woods and going for a hike. Number 3, the question, imagine your ideal balance of the life wheel. What does it look like? I'm thinking that my ideal balance would be all 7s. Being fully satisfied as a 10, I think is kind of impossible. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's always room for growth. So I would probably never rate anything a 10. So I'm thinking the ideal balance would be 7s all the way around. And what steps do I need to get there? I I said to set up a system for finances. I've tried different financial apps to help, like with budgeting apps and things like that. And I haven't quite found one that I really like or that works well for me and our family's lifestyle. So that's something that I'm always on the lookout for. So I'm going to keep looking out for something that will help us budget more successfully. And then for leisure and health, I think I need to create better habits in regards to leisure and health. Leisure tends to get brushed under the rug as a cherry on top kind of a thing and not something that I make a priority. And then in terms of health, I think it's just a matter of if I can create better habits for health, that's just going to become automatic and I'll reap the benefits medically. So those are how I answered those questions. So let's move on. Okay, on to the vision collage. Now you can do this with actual paper and uh, magazines and things, or you can do this digitally. I am going to try to do this with magazines, but I'm going to need to go around my house and try to dig up some old magazines. So I am going to come on later with that portion of this video once I've pulled all the materials that I need to make my collage, and then I'll share my collage with you. So let's move on to section 2, the future visualization. And this is where we are going to take some quiet time for ourselves and really imagine our ideal life. Why don't I read this and I'll kind of be your guided meditation leader, if that's okay. I do hope you can't hear my dog snoring in the background, but if you do, I hope that it is a soothing sound because I can't get him to stop snoring or breathing heavily. Um, so let me go ahead and get us started with this guided meditation. So make sure that you are in a comfortable space where you can relax and without interruptions. Close your eyes and breathe. Take deep, slow breaths to center yourself and relax your body. Imagine your ideal day. Visualize waking up in your ideal life. Where are you? What does your room look like? How do you feel? Think about how you spend your day. What kind of work are you doing? What are your interactions like with others? What hobbies or activities are you enjoying? Reflect on the close of your day. How do you unwind? Who are you with? Think about the emotions that you have experienced in this ideal day? How do you feel as the day progresses? What moments bring you the most joy? Gently bring yourself back to the present and open your eyes when you're ready. We're going to take some time now to quietly reflect on the next page about what you visualized. Let's answer the questions. What did you visualize? What felt most important and joyful to you? What recurring themes or elements did you notice, if any? Let's go ahead and reflect on those questions. Okay, are you ready? I visualized just waking up naturally, enjoying my coffee, going on a walk, hike, or bike ride, maybe making breakfast, playing tennis, or walking or kayaking, and then finally showering for the day, meeting a friend for lunch or other kind of socializing activity. Then in the afternoon, that would be when I do any work or I read or run errands or clean the house, take a nap if I want. Then I'll spend time cooking dinner, and the evening will be spending time with family in conversation, playing cards or other games. So it was interesting because I found that, my work, I would like it to be brief and in maybe the late afternoon, because I really, even though I work now mostly in well, all day, but uh, my most productive time, I guess I should say, right now is in the morning. But I really love being outside in the morning, and I think I'm feeling like I'm missing out on enjoying the morning um, outside. So um, I just kind of wrote that I would probably want to work in the afternoon. Um, but what I found that was most important to me was moving in the morning. And then, of course, those different pockets of solitude throughout the day. And I'm an introvert, so that also makes a lot of sense that I want to spend a lot of time by myself. Um, but I just appreciate that time for solitude, journaling, meditation, prayer, things like that. So that's definitely most important. And then when I kind of interpret what I visualized, it was nice to see that I really just like the simple things. Um, Being with people, conversation, food, um, and solitude. I don't really need a phone. I didn't write about my phone. I didn't write about the computer. Um, it was just about simple things. So that was mine. If you want to share yours with me or any of your journal entries, feel free to reach out. I would love to hear. Okay, let's move on to section 3, discovering interests. So, this activity is meant to maybe uncover some hidden passions or ones from long ago that you haven't participated in. So let's go ahead and fill that out, and then we can talk about what we wrote. Okay, so discovering interests. What activities do you lose track of time while doing? I said I said walking, writing, thinking, reading, kayaking. What topics do you find yourself frequently reading about or watching videos on, or what sections of stores do you like to visit? I said topics, personal growth for sure. And then in stores, candles, soaps, mugs, journals, any of that kind of stuff. And then describe a skill or hobby you've always wanted to learn, how to make pottery, learn how to speak Portuguese, knitting. I could use some cooking skills. I love cooking. I just need help. Golfing, fishing, playing the guitar. I took lessons once 20 years ago, and I think I might remember two chords, so I need to go back. I'd love to make soap. I think that would be fun. Um, so that's my list. I hope you saw the ideas for inspiration on the next page as well. So if you didn't, make sure to look through that list and see if anything piques your interest. So let's move on to the exploration list. This is where we are going to take um, the top three interests that excite you, and then for each one, figure out what might be an initial action to take on that topic. So let's take some time to do that. Okay, I'm ready to share. I um I only picked two interests because I felt like three was too many for me right now. And if that's the same for you, feel free. This is, we're, you know, even though the directions say three, doesn't mean that you have to follow those. You make this work for you. So I'm making this activity that I made work for me too. And right now I can only handle two. So I wrote down that I do want to um, make some soap. I think it would be great. It's a fun leisure activity. It's creative. It's out of the ordinary for me. And it's something working with my hands, and I think I need that. So my initial steps are going to be um, I took a class in New Mexico maybe 5 years ago, and where we made soap, and we got a paper handout with a bunch of ideas of different scents you can use, scent combinations, little additions you can add to the soap. I just want to look for that paper direction sheet. I think I have it. I think I know where it is. I need to find it, and use that as a resource so I know what I need to gather in order to make some soap, and potentially some ideas for making soap. And then I have a second action step with that, and that is to go on YouTube and just search for how to make your own soap and watch a couple videos on that as well. So hopefully the combination of the video with the paper directions will help me feel confident in doing this on my own at home. And then my second area of interest that I really want to dive into is hiking. This is a common theme you've heard me talk about a couple of times during this video, but I really want to get into nature more. My neighborhood has a lot of established trees, and that's nice, but I do want to be in a it like surrounded by trees, really in nature. So there is a wood that's close by that I mean, it's probably a 10-minute drive from my house. So I need to just go there. Like I had said, once a week. I really want to get to the point where I know the trails, like I know all of the different trails in those woods, and I don't know them right now. So I feel like that's a goal of mine would be to explore different trails within those woods, and that would help me to feel more comfortable going there because I would be more familiar with all the different trails. Okay, moving on, section 4, the objective tree. This is going to help us break down our main goals into smaller action steps, which we kind of already did a little bit, but this is a nice visual. If the previous exploration list page didn't break it down enough for you, this is the nice visual to break it down into different action steps over time so you can see kind of all the different things that you need to do, not just the initial action steps, but all of them. And then also define what the evidence might be of your success and draw those on the leaves. So, for example, with my hiking activity, I currently don't know the different trails in the woods, but one piece of evidence that would show my success would be that I would know all the trails and be familiar with them to the point where it going there feels automatic. I know where I am. I'm not getting lost, those kinds of things. I'm not turned around because I know the trails in my mind. So that would be evidence of success, that I'm hiking enough that I know these woods very well. So let's take some time to write out break down the goal into smaller action steps, and then drawing leaves on your tree with the leaves including the evidence that you have been successful with your goal. Are you finished? I just finished. I just picked the soap making as my goal, my main goal. Um, and then I broke it down into several action steps. The two I mentioned earlier, and then gathering supplies like trays, the essential oils I would need, any other things I want to add into the soap, like dried flowers or coffee grounds, things like that. Um, yeah, isn't that cool? Coffee grounds. It's like a natural exfoliant. Anyway, I remember doing that in the soap making class I took. I would need to define the purpose of making the soap. So perhaps I would like to make these for gifts for people. So, my mom might want more of a lavender scent, whereas another friend of mine likes more of the citrus scents. So the my action steps would, or what I do in taking action will be because of my purpose of making the soap. If I'm making it for my friend or if I'm making it for my mom, it's going to be different. Um, Another action will be just testing it out and seeing, is there anything I can do better for each batch? Like, does it lather up enough? Do I need to add more scent to it? Do I want to add some more little fun things. Um, so a series of different batches is probably going to be necessary. So some of the evidence that I'll have that I'm being successful with this is lots of different batches with different scents, different additions, um, that I have gifts for people that I'm making and giving to people just for fun. Um, yeah, and I'm just trying different things out. Um, so yeah, mine's pretty cut and dry, where the goal is to make soap, and the evidence would be that I've made soap. But I want to make sure that it's not just the same thing over and over. I want to get creative with it. So, different batches, different gift ideas, all of that. Okay, moving on. Monthly themes. So, this is where you can break down the activity into different themes by month. So you can break it down as broad or as narrow as you need to, depending on whatever your goal is. So let's just take a little bit and fill out the monthly themes. There are There's room for 12 months, so if you want to go all the way, feel free. Or if it's better, if you're not quite for sure how it's going to transpire, you can just start with the first couple months, whatever works best for you. Okay, I'm ready. With the monthly themes, I just worked on the first 2 months, and the first month I told myself I just needed to gather up all the supplies that I need and make one batch. That's like my initial kind of push into it. And then of the soap making. And then the second month, I would make at least two different batches and get feedback from my family to see if they like it, what they would tweak, things like that. And I'm guessing that subsequent months would be exploring different scents and different additions and continuing to get feedback and refining the soap making. I would, especially in the coming months, probably want to look at um, scents or things that I might want to make for like the holiday season, so that I have something that is appropriate for that time of year. And I've hopefully refined that process, um, so that I can create a really nice bar of soap by then. So that's kind of my goal. So let's move on to the obstacle forecaster. And this is basically what are some potential things that might get in the way of you making progress. Now, my goal soap making, I mean, it's this is because I have no hobbies other than reading. So I know it might seem kind of frivolous, but it really is important that I do something fun and creative. Um, your goals may be way more critical, health related goals, relationship related goals. I don't want you to think that I'm taking this lightly. I just know that my examples, or this example that I'm going through right now, for me is a little more lighthearted. And I don't want to take away from, especially when we're thinking about obstacles, I don't want to take away from how scary some of those obstacles could be, depending on what your goal is. So, you know, um, I just want you to be honest with yourself about what might get in the way, and really plan for those obstacles, because if you can think ahead, knowing yourself and knowing what you tend to do, this is a really important goal for you. So let's try to create an environment where you are most likely to be successful. So let's take a few minutes, fill out the obstacles so that you can be successful in your goals, because they are important and we wouldn't be doing this if they weren't. So let's take a few minutes, fill that out, and then I can share my example, which is just an example. And your goals are different. So I just want to make sure we're not all having leisure goals here. Some goals are much deeper. So let's take a few minutes and work on that. Are you ready for the obstacle forecaster? So I put down that one obstacle with my soap making that may get in the way is that I may put it down low on my priority list and I won't make time for it because I will think that there are other things that are more important, which, yeah, working, paying bills, getting groceries, all of that, those things can feel more important than making soap. And so, one way that I might mitigate that is by thinking ahead with different birthdays that are coming up, different people who I might want to make soap for. And if I have those dates kind of scattered on my calendar, I think that might help me to continue to make soap because I will want something to give to someone for their birthday or celebration or whatever the event may be. So if I can identify those events ahead of time, then I have something to work toward. So that's one solution that I came up with that. So that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about with this obstacle forecaster. So I hope that you identified for yourself potential obstacles and then some solutions for each obstacle, knowing yourself what might get in the way, and then also knowing yourself what can you do to help prevent that from even coming up. The next page in our Life Pivot Planner is the resource list. And so this will be just where you can compile any needs, tools, whatever that you might need to have to meet your goals. So you can go ahead and fill that out. I'm not going to fill that out with you just because I think the rest of this planner is pretty self-explanatory in terms of making lists and preparing yourself for to actually take action. And then the last couple of pieces are actually to be done as you are living your life and as you are making these changes. So, section 6, the reflect page, is on journaling, maybe at the end of each week or the end of each month, whatever works best with your schedule, and using guided prompts for those reflections. And you can see on the page some sample prompts there. And then, of course, you have the included reflection pages in the guide to help you. But don't forget section 6, adjustment strategies. This is something that you'll want to also plan for, because too often I think that when we set a goal for ourselves, if we don't reach it the first time or we're not making the progress that we want, a lot of times we just quit and say, well, I can't do that. This goal isn't working for me. When all it really needs is an adjustment, some small tweaks to make it work better for us. So this is the adjustment strategies page that will walk you through what might you need to change to make your goals easier for you, more successful for you, work better for your lifestyle. Or perhaps you might want to change your goal entirely, depending on where you're at and what's happening in your world. So, I gave you some example adjustment strategies, like if your progress is slower than you expect, if your interests have shifted, or if you are encountering persistent obstacles, what to do. So, that information is there. And then lastly, you have my contact information. So that's nothing that we need to really go over. I hope this was a fun exercise for you to go through with me. And I hope that being with me has provided a little support along the way. Till next time, bye bye.